Welcome to Duality Check, the podcast where two brothers embark on a journey through the realms of scientific inquiry, the mysteries of the past, the uncharted frontiers of spirituality. Join us as we explore the wonders of our world and beyond, all while embracing the roles of curious bystanders rather than experts. Together, we'll unravel the tapestry of existence, blending the dichotomies of knowledge and wonder. Get ready to question, ponder, and delve into the dualities that shape our understanding of reality on Duality Check. I'm Drew.
And I'm Dean, and welcome to episode number 98.
98, woo, woo.
We've made a couple changes here. Stuff that hopefully is a little less noticeable or
less bulky on the table. A little
more
streamlined.
We've got some nice new mounts for our mics. We still might want to try the other mics. I'm not sold that these ones are better than the others, but at least they'll be better for having guests. I think the other ones may still be better quality. But anyway, episode 98, and a lot has happened.
World.
Dude.
Yeah, it's been pretty nuts, the news as of late.
Yeah, so
where to
I'm
start?
not sure when we're releasing this one. Probably
a week from now, probably.
A week from now, so it'll be second week of March for you guys. So this will be late for everyone, but for us, it was just 2 days ago or yesterday, really.
First, that we're now at war with Iran.
Trump decided to just go to war with Iran.
Yeah, via the Middle East proxies. And directly.
Yeah, the Ayatollah has been killed. The bunch of their top leadership, some Americans. There's
and lots of more fighting going on all over the Middle East region.
Yeah, there's missiles flying everywhere.
Yeah, and there's also a cartel war going on down in Mexico.
Yeah,
and we have Chris Bledsoe's prediction that that's kind of lining up with current events.
It's probably going to be a big focus of the show today.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
But I also want to follow up on the thread we opened last week with when we recorded last time. It was literally like the day or the day after Obama made his statement that aliens are real.
Yeah, and we didn't see we hadn't really gotten any of the fallout from that yet.
Yeah, and so there was a couple responses from Trump and from really like all of UFO Twitter kind of blew up.
And a more recent tweet or whatever you call them now, post from the White House on behalf of Trump. The one talking about how he's directed the...
So let's get into all that. All right. I'm going to share this with you guys. So let's just go ahead and reiterate the quote from Obama.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in... what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens? Are aliens real?
So that was what we showed last week. And it's funny. We'll go to a clip from Trump being asked about that.
Right.
But it's funny because we kind of assess that as like, unless there's this conspiracy, there is.
Right.
You know?
Well, and then directly mentioning underground bases at Area 51.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not being kept there.
Right.
You know, kind of the types of words and how he used them.
Right. There's multiple ways in which he could be obfuscating or telling like half truths here.
Yeah. Or even just flat out lying.
Yeah. So then after this happened, then Obama made like a clarifying statement online,
But
sort of disavowing what he said. And he said that, he was talking about the Fermi paradox and the Drake equation, and that mathematically there has to be life out there. That's all he was talking about.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you got to think. I mean, this clip was clearly posted by the interviewer there,
right? Who I think is, what's that? Brian Taylor Cohen is what it shows there.
So I don't know. I mean, I know they're pretty savvy when it comes to media and when and how to do things, and waiting for the episode to drop, showing the clip of you saying the thing out of context and then saying that you like. I mean, I get it's reactive, but
yeah, I mean,
it's he gave himself an escape by the way that the clip was also produced, because you can see that there's a clear editing.
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect him to walk it back until people are freaking out over what he said in the first place necessarily. But
yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell because you don't see, I mean, obviously you see what you see there, but I feel like there's some editing being done there as far as the timing of how everything played out.
Yeah, I haven't gone through and listened to the full context of that interview or anything, but how are there not more follow-up questions about that?
Well, then they asked Trump, and he said that we should play that real quick.
Yeah, so where I thought I had his tweet saved, or no, yeah, it was this first. Okay, so
this is the first clip of him reacting to people interviewing or the interview.
So grab this clip from UAP James on X, and here is Trump being asked about Obama's comments.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know Barack Obama said that.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Especially with the fact that the White House tweeted.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that next, but just on this.
Yeah.
Saying that Barack Obama gave classified information in that interview when it was such a vanilla answer.
Mm-hmm. Which, it doesn't give you much information.
Right. But saying, no, that's classified, then that's kind of a tell on its own, right?
Yeah, unless he's being fully coy here and just being, sarcastic.
Sure.
The way they responded.
Right. Okay. So then, there it is. So then, Trump does a truth on Truth Social, and let's check out what he says here. He says, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and the other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America.
And this was after that clip.
Yeah.
And after Obama, obviously. So this is all kind of in response to the outpouring of interest in this specific topic.
Right.
Or it's,
And the timing of it is really weird, right? Like
with all the Epstein file
the timing of all this thing leading up. I've seen some people take like a sort of conspiracy angle that Obama and Trump together on this are part of some sort of like they're like they were playing their parts to bring this topic up right now type thing. I don't know if I would go there, but it is interesting that all this is happening right before this Iran stuff happens, right after all this Epstein stuff and Trump and his White House and the FBI wanting nothing more than to move the F on from.
But then you have the Charlie
topic.
Kirk stuff as well. The Charlie Kirk murderer. And all of the, just like the accusations of it being like some sort of government. Like sponsored / okayed thing. There's some people online that go in there.
Was that?
But there's just a lot of heat on the government and all sorts of. That's all I'm trying to point to.
But yeah, it definitely struck me as, hey, this is a like distraction tactic.
Or it could just be the next thing that was going to come out, and they're just, like.
Yeah.
It's hard to connect it without any more information that far.
No, I mean,
him
doing this.
Or not disinformation, but distraction.
I think him claiming he's going to disclose, like specifically this part of it, this tweet, was probably him seeing, hey, look at all the interest in this. People really want this. We can get a lot of attention on this. It'll be off of these other things, right?
Yeah.
Hoping to get the news cycle and the talk of the country to move in other directions,
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. All right, so then I also wanted to share this little snippet. So Chris Ramsey, who runs the Area 52 YouTube channel, he had Jesse Michels on. They were just essentially doing a debrief on this situation with Obama and Trump, and they were sort of speculating as to where's this going to go? Is Trump going to be the disclosure president? And then this tweet, this truth happened right in the middle of their show. So this is them live reacting to it, which I thought was pretty funny. Let's check this out.
We've obviously been trying to like weaponize it for so long, and yeah.
It's worth it.
Okay, breaking tweet right now. Donald J. Trump. What we talked about Truth Social recently.
Yeah.
And we're just getting this now. This is live. Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files to alien and extraterrestrial life,
No way.
unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America.
I just got the chills.
Me too.
That is insane.
We were
just talking about this whole.
We have UAP Gerb and come say hi. UAP Gerb and Luigi. This is breaking
I thought
news,
you guys
dude.
had to go or something.
No. It was like we're reading it, and we gotta show them. Because
my
that's what you guys are
God.
talking about.
Dude, when did you tweet this?
About 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Dude, that's wild. We're literally talking about this.
This is insane.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It was pretty crazy. Watching that full episode and having that happen in the middle was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But then they speculate more after that.
totally.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird time. We're in the year and the general time frame that Chris Bledsoe was talking about the revelation. We've got this crazy war. We've got Epstein stuff. We've got possible UFO disclosure. We've got this Disclosure Day movie coming. The other guy, the Luigi guy that was in there, he's working on a new documentary
with
about Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
And Jesse said that he's got some really strong information on there that will change the debate from whether or not he worked at S4.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Onto whether or not you think he's just telling the truth about what he saw, because you can't deny that he worked at S4.
Right, because that was a lot of the stuff used to discredit him throughout the story of Bob Lazar was his how everything got wiped.
Yeah.
That he worked in these places, Los Alamos and all these others.
Dude. All right.
And so the Chris Bledsoe connection and the fact that, we're now seeing like missiles like he's predicted. I mean, he's saying he received this information from the lady and the beings that connected with him. But now we're seeing missiles flying in the Middle East between Israel and Iran, just like he said.
Mm-hmm.
And we're within, a year, the year of when he predicted it.
Right.
Early predictions were Easter. More recent predictions or updates were that it was going to be in the fall time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like also when we talked about those like time travelers and stuff, and like not time travelers, but I guess people who made predictions, like time and like the future is like fluid and like things might happen slightly different from the way predictions are told, but I'm interested. I would love to see some of this play out.
To the extent that time travel is possible or that these predictions are valid, I mean, it still appears that free will exists, and so things are going to change. And so to the extent those things exist, probably they're only able to make these like big overarching like trend type predictions.
Yeah. Which still, the fact that within the same year we're now launching missiles into Iran.
Yeah.
Around close enough to the time frame where like, and the threat of nuclear war not being like, this is what the war was launched for, is to prevent Iran from potentially ever having nuclear armaments.
Right.
But they have allies.
I mean, yeah, well, and they have started a bombing campaign all over the Middle East. And
anywhere that
it seems very possible that more people are getting involved. Like I heard that France has a carrier group headed down towards the Middle East right now. Not to mention all the other countries around them that have been receiving some of their bombs. And which entities are going to have Russia or China backing. And that's where this all gets pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough to go, the Iran thing is crazy enough, but then
to add in the potential for bringing in multiple countries and, the nuclear threat. And I mean, like we had kind of talked about, like the potential that these UAP or entities, and having been sighted all around nuclear facilities, shutting them down, and all the stories about all that kind of stuff. And there is potential that maybe nuclear may not even be on the table.
Yeah.
And that might spark some sort of like if somebody hit the button and they thought, that something should have happened and then nothing happens, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the question is has that already happened in the past,
Right. Well, there is that one, the Russian they were on red alert,
right?
Told to push the button, and then the person who was supposed to push the button didn't push the button because he had a feeling that it might have been a false.
And then they had their own version of the UAP flyovers, but in their case, so in the cases here, there was the UFOs that would fly over the missile bases and shut down the missiles. But in Russia, they had a version of that where they activated.
Right. The complete opposite, which kind of makes sense too. If you're like one of those things, you're like, you go one place to test one version of, make sure you can do both things.
Yeah. So the question is, has like a missile actually been launched with intention and it didn't hit its target?
Right.
Because if that is the case, then
the governments would
the
know
entire history of like the Cold War and the deep state since then would be fully revolved around that fact.
Right. It would be, as far as what they're keeping secret.
Hence the increased urgency for keeping this stuff secret, right?
Yeah. And continuing to, grow our arsenals of physical warfare instead of these missiles.
So some of the potential I see is that if this does somehow develop into a larger war, it's only if we enter some sort of real hot war with the likes of like a Russia or a China where we need to really bring everything we've got. Mm-hmm. I think only under those circumstances is it likely that if we have this like reverse engineered technology that they'll be willing to bring it out onto the battlefield if it is even ready for that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another potential in play.
And what if...
Which could also tie into the reason why this disclosure timing is a little weird and suspect.
I've got a weird theory that I just came up with. What if we have reverse engineered craft, but the ones that are going around and have the technology, we're using our reverse engineered craft to go and shut down and do it ourselves without it being some sort of extraterrestrial. And it's like a country like Sweden, like some like neutral country that has the tech.
Oh.
And they're going around they're like, the reason they're able to stay neutral during all of this is because they're the ones who have the technology. And that's why you see the Nordics.
Oh, dang.
They are the Nordics. And they're using their tech to go and just keep peace and maintain that there's no nuclear.
Whoa, that's an interesting idea. I was thinking like a similar thing, but like if the reverse engineering was a lot farther along than we thought it was, and if it was active back in those days where the nuclear stuff happened, that maybe is almost like a false flag where you're trying to create events even though it's done by like the deep black in the US, like they're making the non-aware, the non-read in aspects of the military take notice of this thing, because one day when they're gonna do their fake invasion with this technology, they even want the military and people like that to believe it, right?
Yeah. That would make sense, yeah.
But also, whose story was that's such a long time.
It was like a Y-Files episode or something that maybe we had talked about one time, where they're developing like maybe HARP or something was like involved in the potential to use like atmospheric particles to do hologram projections. It was like Project Bluebeam or something like that, or some.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Bluebeam. It might. Yeah, I think.
I can't remember.
That might be it.
But yeah, it was like this project to like figure out if they could use atmospheric particles to create holographic images, 3-dimensional, lifelike images in the atmosphere. So you could project it all the way out into the outer atmosphere as if it's something getting closer.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's there right in front of you. And they're
because
still
a projection doesn't need to follow the same laws of physics because it's
Right.
not an actual nuts and bolts craft traveling through atmosphere. So a projection can explain the crazy right angle turns and the faster than
I mean
reasonable
I'm going down full
forces and stuff.
Yeah, in a hologram we could just do it. And I'm going full conspiracy now, just right now. But all of the Starlink satellites that are surrounding the Earth now
are part of
creating the hologram and having it move around.
Yeah, I don't think they're that expensive of satellites, but I like the conspiracy angle.
It's easy to connect all those dots, you know? When you got so many different things going on.
Another interesting thing, and it could be nothing, but I just thought the timing was strange. This guy, John Greenwald, he runs a website called The Black Vault. Have you ever heard of that website?
I don't think I've never been there. But
you should check it out because it's basically like one of the most, the biggest like sources of like secret document leaks and stuff that is all congregated together. He spent decades congregating UFO files from
everything
all sorts
as
of
it becomes
sources.
declassified. He's grabbing it,
or
and
like
storing it.
like all these sources that come out over time. He grabs it all. He puts it all there. So like if there's a document you're looking for that has to do with UFO lore, like that's where you want to go to look it up.
Yeah.
So this was like the day after the Trump announcement, and he like, here, let's just read his tweet. Yesterday, I discovered that 100% of my main document server was just gone. No files, nothing. It was hundreds of gigs of data in thousands of directories, and it just vanished. In addition, numerous server-side directories had permissions changed and file ownership changed. It's unclear why, and I've never seen this in the history of running web servers for the Black Vault. I am not sure when exactly this happened, but I discovered it yesterday. I have server monitors up, but never got notified of anything down. The server was just throwing forbidden errors, which is why it technically didn't show as down. So I never got a notification. Let me be clear. I do not fully suspect foul play, but the main web hosting provider for the server, he says he runs 4 of them, had no idea what happened. And on their side, they said it was a deletion, not a corruption. In my honest opinion, I feel it was a very oddly timed server maintenance done by the hosting provider that went awry. They didn't catch it, and when I did, they didn't take blame, and there was no way to fully prove what happened. And by whom? Could I be wrong? Yes. Could it have been foul play? I can't rule it out. Yes, I have numerous backups, and yes, it appears I got everything restored already as of early evening yesterday. But please let me know if you find any errors when downloading documents. He remains the sole person that runs the Black Vault, and this will be the start of my 30th year running the website. Come this September, I began hand typing documents in high school to a 5 megabyte free space server back in 1996. PrimeNet. I've never even heard of that. I've now grown to nearly 4 million pages of records online, running 4 dedicated servers just for the site, and no data deletion, accidental or otherwise, will ever keep me down for good. But it's a stark reminder to all of us, me included, keep backups, keep them in multiple places, and never be intimidated by anything that comes our way, no matter what we expect may have happened. Stay the course. I am, and I'm not going anywhere.
Nice.
It's pretty interesting timing, though.
And this all happened right around the same time on February 21st.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's apt to think that it was probably like a server maintenance issue, then I'm apt to believe that. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it just seems like weird timing.
Right. All right. Why don't we take our first break?
Okay.
And we'll be back in a minute. I may have just missed a on-call, too.
Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. We'll be back in just a bit.
All right. See you guys.
Time to waste, and I have stolen too many times for me to change my ways. I have wasted too much time. I feel the difference. On the inside, I see your colors coming. Well, your ears are trying to hunt me down. I've rinsed the rest of my body. Your colors don't stain me now. Spectator of things passing by. Like they say, I live my life all in good time. I've been a giver. Oh, what a waste. Like an old lover, I've been living my days all in bad taste. Well, I see your colors coming. Well, your ears are trying to hunt me down. I've rinsed the rest of my body. Your colors don't stay. Colors don't stay me now.
Welcome back. That was TJ McNulty, and the song is Colors.
I love that one.
Yeah. I don't say this enough. I mean, it's on our thing if you're watching the YouTube, but we always provide links to the artists that we play in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast, or in the description if you're on a video platform like YouTube.
Yeah, so if you're enjoying any of the songs that you're hearing during our breaks, you can go check them out.
Yeah, please support. These are all friends of ours, local artists, and they would love to have some new ears on their music.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. Yeah, get back into the craziness that is our reality.
Okay, so I got this also on Twitter. This is from Ross Coulthart.
Yeah.
So he's posting a snip of an interview with Sean Kirkpatrick, which was the guy who ran, was it Arrow at the time after Lou left? He was the one that came in and like basically stopped cooperating. Like he started being one of those guys who was saying that there's nothing here.
Running the
while running the investigation.
Yeah, which is
it's kind of like a Blue Book thing all over again.
With Hynek.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
this is SG is.
I don't know who SG is, but that's the interviewer. KP is Kirkpatrick. He says, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the recent hoopla of Obama saying aliens were real and Trump saying he's going to mandate a wide release of UFO and alien files. Since you had access to all these files while director of Arrow, what can the public expect to see if/when such files are released? Kirkpatrick says, most files of interest have been released, including the ones I had declassified on Kona Blue. We worked hard among the National Archives and all of the supporting archives to find and release the documents in accordance with congressional direction. The public will likely see just as much new response when the Congress passed further legislation instructing industry to come clean on the alien tech they were supposedly hiding. The public shouldn't expect any further revelations as there really aren't any. Sometimes the truth isn't what you want to believe. Then the interviewer says, UFO believers are claiming victory at Trump's announcement, using it as evidence of the government acknowledging aliens have visited Earth via extraterrestrial UFOs. Your response? Only the truly naive and rationally challenged would claim this is an admission. This is both a distraction and a diversion from the fact that we're about to attack Iran and a response to Obama's public attention on the matter.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this new development? And then Kirkpatrick says, I expected this would eventually happen for a variety of reasons. I think this is a further waste of taxpayer money and valuable time when we have far more existential matters to worry about. When no new revelations occur, there will be an outcry of a conspiracy and cover-up. When videos are released without analysis or explanation, there will be a flurry of pseudoscience and uneducated speculation to fill the gaps. We are rapidly slipping back into the dark ages and out of enlightenment, and our leadership is leading the way.
Not the truth.
Some of it, yeah.
No, I mean at the end there, that last bit. But yeah, I mean, that would be a reason for it being completely just over proportional. Like, The thing that I agree with is that Trump didn't necessarily say he was going to declassify files. He said he's going to have everything that is already within the reach of people who have, like, it didn't necessarily say he's declassifying anything new.
Begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life and UAP and UFOs and any other information connected.
Right, but that could just be all of the things of the last decade where since 2012, or was it 2017, almost the last decade, right?
Yeah, but there was some UFO legislation passed as part of the NDAA.
That declassified?
That was doing it. Well, it required agencies to provide reports to Congress as well as a public report.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mandate the declassifying of classified material.
Which is where you got a bunch of those hearings, and then the famous hearings with like Grush and stuff, where he's like, "Hey, I could tell you in a skiff" type thing.
Yeah, which was all stuff that he was allowed to talk to in public.
Yeah. So, and then there was the public facing reports that came out that sort of acknowledged some unexplained stuff, but didn't really make anything of it. Anyway, you had a totally different response from what was released publicly, and then like the Congress people themselves, like Anna Paulina, Luna, and some of the other representatives that were involved.
Right.
And
I can't
actually
imagine
have
that's
some of
all
her
of it,
stuff.
though.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
It was just like, if you read like Lou Elizondo talked about it in his recent book.
Yeah.
Where basically he's been trying to help push this like disclosure effort through Congress, but that it's sort of a process, and that some of the things they tried to get in there kept getting pulled out. Like they wanted to have language in there to make it basically so that the government can reclaim any property that has been sent to these companies for reverse engineering.
Right.
And that language got removed
because that would be telling.
Yeah. Well, and it specifically got removed by members of Congress. There was a member of Congress who had like the, what's the big airfield that everyone thinks Wright-Patterson, yeah, who has that as part of his district.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Was involved
we
in
talked
getting
about
that
before.
language removed.
Yeah.
Which is in itself sort of telling,
Admission.
because why go through the effort to lobby and remove language about you having to turn over something that doesn't exist?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's all sleight of hand and stuff, but I guess my only thing is like, well, one of the main things would be like the fact that they're not necessarily declassifying anything that hasn't already been, even if it is for certain eyes only to see, and the public doesn't have access to a lot of stuff. They're not just full on declassifying, black program, highly sensitive material. They're just gonna give all of the fluffy stories that the government investigated as part of aliens and UFOs, and say, oh, look, like there was these UFO cases, we investigated, there's some anomalies, there's some weird things, but there's never going to be any hard evidence.
Or what they can do, and this is why the topic's so weird and so shifty, right, is because there's a whole nother parallel explanation other than we're being visited by some sort of entities, right? And that narrative goes that essentially back in post-World War II with T. Townsend Brown and and some of the Nazi researchers, that they essentially, that this tech was just designed here. That's a possibility. And that it really exists, but that the sort of alien and UFO narrative is useful to hide the reverse engineering and the development. I find it hard to believe that it could be that advanced or well developed and still all these years later it never was implemented as part of warfare,
Yeah, well, especially on the heels of a world war.
Yeah.
Like, unless they were, decades away from solving for it. But but it also lends credence to the idea of this like breakaway society that at some point after some conflict, a group of people with knowledge that was not meant for the public because the governments didn't want it, like goes and hides away. I mean, that would be pretty crazy for something like that to happen, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Like there's like the reports that a lot of like escaped Nazis from World War II are down in like Argentina.
Right.
And they're like have their own like
and some
region,
some spots in Asia, like
Peru
in Japan and stuff. But no, it's Argentina. Yeah. All right. Let's. I want to check out what Ross had to say about this because he shared that.
Right.
So he says that these comments from the former directory of the Department of War's UAP Investigation Office, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, underline precisely why he should never be taken seriously and why his role in Arrow always was a joke. His dismissiveness that there are any UAP secrets is in direct contradiction to his commander-in-chief. The president has laudably acknowledged that Barack Obama's aliens are real comment was supposedly a breach of classified information. That implies there definitely are classified secrets on aliens. That was an extraordinary admission by the president. If there truly were no further UAP secrets to be revealed, then why did the commander-in-chief acknowledge that there are indeed such secrets yet to be revealed about NHI/aliens? President Trump categorically knows this because he's been briefed about NHI, and Dr. Kirkpatrick knows that very well. The failure of most of America's legacy media to investigate and expose the appalling disinformation psyop run illegally on the U.S. public by its own government for 80 plus years is an appalling breach of trust. Some journalists have been complicit in the cover-up. Congress has also allowed itself to be misled, and its oversight committees have been largely emasculated by devious manipulation and outright coercion and bribery from within the national security state and private military aerospace. It's already becoming clear that the president's pledge for transparency ain't worth jot. Is that an Australian saying?
Must be.
Unless he moves rapidly to order full declassification of all UAP secrets before they're put through a shredder. I'm also told there is going to be an effort by those gatekeeping these secrets to severely constrain just how much the public is told. Americans will eventually be told, yes, we humans aren't alone, but it will be claimed that we don't know much at all about what or who they are or their technology, that we don't have DUMBS. What is that supposed to be?
Dumbs.
I know, but what is it supposed to be?
We don't have dumbs where we are. Reverse engineering and operating their technology.
Underground military bases. Something underground.
Deep underground military bases.
That's got to be it. Where we are reverse engineering and operating their technology. That we don't do retrieval operations, that we aren't using HPM weapons. I think that's high.
Those are the energy.
High pulse modulation or something like that.
I can't remember what the acronym is.
Yeah, to down NHI craft. Such a claim would be a lie. Anyway, so yeah, he's roasting Sean Kirkpatrick here.
What was it again? Go back down. Sorry, HPM. High power.
I don't know.
I had it for a second, but anyway. Yeah, so he definitely was roasting him.
Yeah. All right, so I kind of want to shift for a little while, and I want to go into the recent the recent Y-Files episode with Chris Bledsoe, because he's gonna sort of clarify on his prophecy, like we already talked about. And then there's an interesting clip later as well that I wanted to show off. So
yeah, this whole episode was really good. So go check it out.
Let's check this out.
Shown. I mean, we talked earlier about there are so many stories about two timelines, right, and we're at an inflection point where we can choose as a species. We can go down a dark path of evil, right, or we can go down the light path of enlightenment, right, and we're at the point where where are we headed?
Well, I think we're heading to the light.
I hope you're right, but were you ever shown? Were you ever shown the other side?
Yeah.
Could you tell us?
Well, yeah, I saw the first 4 hours when I was gone. Remember the 4 hours? And I started to hit on this earlier.
Yep.
They showed me Hathor's temple. They showed me the pyramids. They showed me Egypt as a whole. The Sphinx was the biggest thing. 3 pyramids. I'm looking over the pyramids at the rear end of the Sphinx. That's the position we were in. Then they transport me up over the United States, somewhere up over the Midwest. And we were way up high, and we were looking, and they're talking. They're narrating these things. And all of a sudden, I see the sun swell up in the sky. It got real big to where the whole sky became the sun, and then it flashed and the lights went out, and I knew then that was the reset mechanism that and they told me this is what we're in for.
Is this a solar flare, or is this something worse?
A supernova.
Oh no, that's the end of everything then.
Yeah.
So that's not the lights going out. That's everything out.
Right.
So that right there is pretty crazy.
He said that in context to the fact that this is kind of the alternative to the light. Right. That if we head down the dark path for long enough, that's where we're headed.
To a full reset through the use of the sun.
Yeah. And I was reading or listening to Real Magic by Dean Radin recently.
Oh, cool.
And I love his, because he's got a kind of a panpsychist view on things. And he spoke about the potential when you allow yourself to kind of believe in panpsychism, that it is probably likely that it melds with simulation theory very well. And that if everything is conscious, then even what is above, like macro to the universe,
right,
having full control and playing as if with the,
laws of physics,
and it basically being, because they're on a higher dimension than we are, just based off of the regional physics of what they would be compared to us. Like the idea that everything moves in whatever rule set they set, and whether that's God, or like in Plato's cave, just the next level of existence, like it's an interesting thought to like bring that into UAP and like the modern day stuff happening, and like this kind of prediction where they talk about the ability of the entities to just make a reset.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like so here's the thing about, there's a couple things that come to mind with him talking about this. One is that the solar, he's calling it a supernova, which would be as what's his name?
You talking about Wi-Fi guy?
Yeah.
I'm losing it for whatever reason.
Just because I asked.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so
yeah.
Just as he points out, like a supernova, like that includes like the sun expanding in size to where it literally swallows the Earth. Which is crazy. I mean, it could still be like a crazy solar flare that maybe
looks exactly like and feels exactly like.
Yeah. Well, that maybe Bledsoe, just his understanding is like, maybe he doesn't know,
Well, and he admits that at the time he had no idea. So he's based his assumption of what it was is based off of telling the story and hearing what what that could possibly be.
But the reason I find a supernova hard to believe is because it seems like whoever this presence is concerned with the well-being of everything on Earth, including everything other than us, right? And so, which is why our sort of nuclear Armageddon that we're setting up here on Earth has been of interest to them. So I find it hard to believe that their response to that is
wipe everything out.
Let's just delete all of the Earth.
Unless it really is that we are a small piece and we are just one of many experiments on different planets.
Yeah, but it's just like you could have security at the zoo trying to keep people from getting in the cages to like mess with the animals. And so someone finally sneaks in and messes with an animal, and you were just going to like shoot a bazooka into the cage and kill him and the animal. Like, seems like you're doing your job wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on the ultimate morality of the entities.
But the other thing it brings to mind is the reset, the Younger Dryas, because
that was likely a reset of some kind.
Well, yeah,
if we're talking about in these terms.
So, like the Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson camp is that it was basically a reset by water because of some sort of impact onto the ice sheet, right?
Yeah.
That caused a rapid rise in the sea levels and the rapid melting of the polar ice, right?
And then the little ice age in between.
But Robert Schoch, his theory has been that it was some sort of solar event that essentially caused very similar phenomena to what Graham and Randall and the like are citing. Anyway, I found it interesting that this sort of reset mechanism he's talking about does sort of ring a bell with Robert Schoch's research.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is we don't know. Even the people who claim to know, as much as they seem to know, don't know. They're piecing history back using different shaped blocks, and, you know, like they're not getting the full picture of what history was truly like. Neither are we. I mean, we're speculating, but it seems more honest to be honest about your speculation.
Yeah.
You know, be honest that you are speculating, even if you have gone to school and have a degree and whatever. Like, you're making up a story as just like everybody else. It's just you can name the rocks and you can, you know, do a few more things.
If we put it back in context of this Chris Bledsoe conversation, as you pointed out, this is what he's describing here as one path, one option. And then I think he's going to get into what the other option is. So why don't we're real close to an hour. Why don't we take our next break and then we'll come back and listen to some more.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right, y'all. Enjoy some music. We'll be back in a few.
Was pulling away from us all, but you begged it to stay, sent out calls for the warming sun rays from the hall to the open doorway. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew time was all I had to make me understand the whole truth. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew life was still frozen over and glossed winter kill from the damaging frost of your guilt. Tied inside you and taught lovers will offer to you for now. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew time was all I had to make me understand the whole truth. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I through the fog, That's how I really was. Nothing more than broken pieces of you in my hand. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew time was all I had to make me understand the whole truth. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew, yeah. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew the time was all I had to make me understand the whole truth. I can still recall the feeling from the fall when I knew, yeah. I knew, yeah. I found the truth, yeah. I knew, yeah. I found the truth.
Welcome back.
All right.
That was Stevie Nader featuring John Glover, our crazy brother.
AKA Spider-Man.
The Fall. Yeah. Dude. We just had a birthday party for Drew's son. And
John dressed up like Spider-Man for us.
and I dressed up like Green Goblin, and I stole the birthday cake, and then Spider-Man jumped off the roof.
Recruited my son to be on Team Spidey, and they took down the Green Goblin. And it was the cutest thing ever.
Super fun, man.
We got some great videos, but yeah, Spider-Man was in the house.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a little post. Just
to show, yeah.
I'll put the picture of Spider-Man on the roof in the folder. If you could flash it on screen, it's so cool.
Yeah, Dean got into it too. He was in character.
Yeah. It was like, you cannot get my cake. It's my cake.
Yeah, and Spidey's like, my web shooters are broken. And Dean goes, whoa. It's so good. So good.
All right.
Let's get back in it. So you want to keep going a little bit here with the...
Yeah.
He's going to talk a little bit more
I think
about
he's going to talk about
light.
the other path. Yeah. So let's check that out.
And that's how the Tektites got here. Scientists will try to say, oh, that can't be a supernova. Well, yeah, it can. It's happened before, and we know it has because I've studied with Dr. Povenmire, was the world's expert on Tektites.
Yeah, he was.
And how did they get made? They come through a supernova. It didn't come from a solar flare. It come from a supernova.
Right.
He told me that, and we know that, and that it can happen again. So
It's
the way
pretty
they
confident
explained
about
it
the
was,
supernova thing.
we had two timelines. We had a choice. They said that there were people in power scripting the book of Revelations to bring about the end of the world. They want to do this. These religious nuts, I guess you would call it, people that are, I don't know why they'd want to do that. But
I think it's a shadow government, and that's why they're building bunkers and all of that, is because they're trying to engineer the end of the world.
yeah, and that's what she told me. That's what the beings told me. That they were trying to bring about the end of the world, and if we'd go that route, it would end up in Armageddon, and like the Bible says, Jesus comes back and saves the world, right? So that's what I was talking about with Sean Ryan, was that timeline. But the other timeline, they said, was that the reset button didn't have to happen if we made the choice to seek the light and remove the darkness from and that they were going to help. And that's by waking us up.
And does that lead us into the 2026 event?
2026 into a time of awakening and peace, not war.
And you have been called, I know you don't like the word prophet.
Right.
So let's just call it a prediction. What was the prediction that the lady made?
Well, what she told me was, it was a riddle in a way. She said, She said, when the red star of Regulus, now keep in mind, I don't know anything about astronomy. I don't know what Regulus is. She just put these numbered words out. She said, when the red star of Regulus aligns in the gaze of the Sphinx, and she showed it to me. It looked like a little red ball. Now, Regulus is blue.
Is blue.
But she said it would appear red on the horizon just before dawn. When that happens, at that point, would mark a shift into a new knowledge, an awakening of the people. Don't mean that you're going to flip a switch and we all of a sudden know that day. I think it's just the beginning of a new era, a new knowledge, and maybe that's the revealing of this, the truth of consciousness.
And this will be the Sphinx gazing at Regulus.
Yeah.
Do you know what constellation Regulus is in?
It's in Leo.
It's in Leo.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Why does the Space Force have on their badge a triangle,
right,
with a Sphinx looking up at a star?
That's funny that you mention that. If you look at a lot of the logos, whether it's NRO, all these, there's all this Egyptian iconography on them.
Yeah.
It makes me think they know something we don't know.
Oh, they do.
They do.
They do. I can tell you they do.
What do they know? And why won't they tell us?
I wish I could tell you something I do know.
Okay.
But I can't.
Let's just say I'm getting in really serious trouble.
Are you under any NDA?
No.
You're not?
No.
So you can speak freely?
I can, but I might cut my toes off or cut myself off from a stream of information.
As the legal counsel, I would advise you to be careful here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely clarifies more of his points in this one.
Yeah.
As far as...
They haven't gotten to the point where he corrects it to, I think he says October.
Yeah, he does. He definitely corrects it later. I don't think it's too far away from this point.
Yeah. But
so he didn't talk about I think he talks about it later again, but he talks about how the missiles between Israel and Iran being specific as a part of like the onset and what you can expect to see happen in a time before this new enlightenment. I think is a darker time.
The other part that I clipped, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe we go to that one.
Okay.
But it's I had this thought while he was talking here where he's talking about like a new knowledge, he's talking about, he thinks it's consciousness. And the other timing factor that we haven't mentioned is this whole popularization of the psychic phenomena through the telepathy tapes.
Mm-hmm. And he's got a connection now with the
Kai Dickens
and the researcher. What was her name?
Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell.
Yeah, he's got connections with her too, Chris Bledsoe. So I think all of the things that have led him to all the different NASA and all these like intelligence agencies and the
so what if the revelation is maybe there's some about the UFO, but maybe what if it's less focused on that and more focused on
truth and
the idea that consciousness is what undergirds reality and that all of us have these sort of abilities that we have shut ourselves off to by the types of lives that we and the society we've built up.
Yep. Which will probably, because there are people who have these set abilities,
if
it's been marginalized.
If a critical mass of people unlocks these abilities, it is absolutely going to
flip the script
on the way
structure.
Our civilization works, right?
Yeah.
Now, imagine someone with these abilities being in the White House press briefing room and being able to read
the mind of politicians.
Giving BS answers, or there's just so much in our society that is built on secrecy and lying and
truth and
need to know type stuff, right? So if those barriers, the ability to keep everything secret sort of starts to go away because of awakening to consciousness and that's sort of psi phenomena, it's a different world.
It's 100% different world, and it's one of these things that would change things slowly at first, but then as it picks up steam, it would start happening at a much quicker pace, and then it's about how it happens and how the dynamic shifts and changes.
Well, yeah, and then you also get the not Grush. Who was the other guy who
Sam
did the psi
Barber
stuff? What
was his name? Barber or something?
Yeah, Jake Barber. And many others have with the whole CE5 with Stephen Greer and Chris Bledsoe himself.
Right.
There's a lot of people that seem to be able to use consciousness to interact with the phenomena.
And with physical life, the physical nature of reality, right? Because like even like Chris Bledsoe claims that he can heal people.
Yeah, well, he specifically tries to take the credit off himself.
Yeah,
he thinks that the healing is coming through him, and that it's not really him doing it.
True. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
But that may be the case for most people who do these sorts of miraculous.
You got all the old monks too that talk about having the ability using chi to like unlock these certain abilities.
Yeah, there was a really good episode on season 2 of Telepathy Tapes about energy healing, which is something I've been rather skeptical of for a long time. But it was really, it just helps so much to interview people who actually are engaged in it, because it sort of breaks down the walls of the just like expected charlatanism that like my bias that I bring with me,
right.
You know,
because they're people who are practicing it on a daily. They're not trying to go around selling it to people.
Yeah. It's almost like if we're going to step into this world, it requires a critical mass, because these types of abilities are so intertwined with charlatanism, right? Like it's so easy to take advantage of people and their good faith and their kindness, and they're willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. And then just basically take advantage of them, screw them over, con them with these types of phenomena. And just because that happens and may be prevalent, and if you were to take the whole base of people who claim these psi abilities, I wouldn't be surprised if over half were charlatans.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But
I don't know. But
even
I'm
a
just
small
saying,
percentage
it wouldn't
is not zero.
Right. It wouldn't surprise me, whatever that number would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sensitive thing, because if we start to take it more seriously, we have to have defense mechanisms. And so it's almost like a feedback loop where you need the phenomena, you need the psi abilities in order to protect yourself from the phenomena becoming part of our culture, you know?
Yeah. Being more integrated instead of like being able to like restart things. And
like if you could just, like, even if most people just ended up with some sort of like basic, like, I got this feeling that I know how to trust
listening
now.
to your gut feeling,
right?
Like even
to
just
tell when someone is BSing me or taking advantage of me.
Yeah, even if it becomes, because that's what a lot of people talk about. Like we had just a different, like we talked about in Secret History of the World, and that the stroll through the forest and how they imagined and saw the world in such a different way, and they were able to key in on different things happening, and were able to, take all of that information and make choices based on it.
Right.
And how real and helpful that could be. If you're just going about your day, but you see a thing that reminds you of a thing that, and you see that all as working together, instead of all separate things.
Right. Do you think we try a little further on this bit or skip to my other one? Let me see. Because it might just be a little bit further in.
Then what? Because
a half hour in.
Yeah,
further.
That's another half hour forward. So maybe we go a little further on this bit.
Okay. And then we jump to it.
Okay.
But I do know that they've documented things over the last several hundred years.
Several hundred years.
Ever since they started keeping records in the U.S. and abroad over hundreds of years, thousands of years, 2,000 or more. The specific thing I'm speaking about.
Well, we can see orbs and paintings that are hundreds of years old.
Yeah. And it's like the Gelder painting of Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist.
Yes.
There's a cloud up there, and it looks like a flying saucer with laser beams.
Yes, it does.
How did they know to draw laser beams in the 1300s?
Right, exactly.
Didn't have a flashlight then, right? So, yeah, there's a whole lot of knowledge we don't know. This hidden knowledge.
Do you think disclosure is happening now?
We're in post-disclosure.
You think it's already happened?
It's happened. It's happening one person at a time.
Because I'm very suspicious of what we're being told.
Right.
Because I don't know what's true and what's not true. So I don't know if this is planned disclosure. And if it is, I don't like that.
Well, they're planning it. They're definitely planning it. And they've turned up the notch 100%, right? Partly because when the drone thing happened, and
this was interesting.
Drones. They were not drones at all, and we know that they weren't drones. They know that they weren't drones. They were orbs, right? And it's the very thing I predicted. I didn't predict it. I just told what I was told. That when Iran and Israel go to exchanging missiles, then the orbs would start appearing out of the sea, out of the land, out of the sky. And they were firing at one another in November. And what happened November, December? Orbs appeared everywhere, so the government freaked out. And they started sending their own drones up, big ones, and leave them for days hanging around. All that was done to confuse the people.
So you're a pilot.
Yeah.
I've been shown from another pilot a NOTAM report that showed in advance all these areas where drones would be. But the government never told us that. They never said, relax, we got it, it's us. They kept us confused and frightened.
Right.
What would be the purpose of that? Why frighten the population?
I'll tell you why. Because I was sitting in a restaurant with some people from the Pentagon and some Congress and others in the Capitol Grill in Washington, D.C. this past summer. And after that happened with it was in this year. The thing happened in November, right? December, or this past summer.
Yep.
And or spring. It was not too far after that we were meeting. And they wanted to know my opinion about this. I said, I told you, you start shooting missiles with Iran, you're gonna get it. And they're like, oh my God, this is catastrophic disclosure. So that term was coined with me sitting at a meeting with these people back this year. So they don't want that to happen. They don't want to lose control of the people. They're afraid if they push the button too far, it's going to come down here and wake us all up and take over. They're worried what's going to happen.
And then they lose.
I mean, they should be worried about that, to be honest.
It wouldn't take. It would take a lot simultaneously if something appeared and was able to give you knowledge that you didn't otherwise have, or like explain things in such a way that like makes everything clear, or gives you the ability to just know when somebody's lying to you. Like that's how you wake up a population to at least the truths, and whether you mobilize them and they all come. And
well, yeah, and like government approval isn't really bad, and it has been for a while.
Yeah,
Trump had his honeymoon moment, but after breaking promise after promise, and then after all this Epstein stuff, and now starting a war after campaigning as a peace president, like I don't think just one more thing they've been lying to us about for decades, almost a century now.
Yeah,
it's gonna erode trust big time.
Yeah, it almost feels like somebody who's making some decisions could potentially be like sabotaging the government. Like there might be enough disapproval for decades now that, as well as there being, other factions within the government, there's a faction of the government, like there have been in many other previous governments, that are trying to take down the government from within.
Or at least take down the people who are
in control. Like take away erode the faith in it, and then you push, you make this decisions like this are what exposes governments, like doing like really bombastic things, all in secession. Like you got the Epstein files, you got a new war with Iran, you got all the previous stuff that's happened in the last few presidencies, and then you got all this UAP stuff, and I mean it's just a lot, and people are watching now. Like everybody has access to watch what's going on with their government now.
Right.
There's nobody that can claim ignorance. I mean, unless they're not trying to pay attention, right? But
yeah.
There's a lot more eyes on all of the things going on.
I find it interesting about the New Jersey drones and the timing of it, and
right after the previous missiles were launched.
Yeah. A lot of people in the UFO world who are sort of like the disciplined researchers and whatnot point out with the whole New Jersey drone situation that the whole thing started with orbs, not with these drone things. These drone things were pretty clearly human technology.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Maybe advanced.
Whether advanced or not, yeah.
And definitely advanced because of how long they were able to stay in the air. But as a distinct, separate phenomena than the orbs or whatever that apparently preceded them. So
well, and he is saying that the drones are our technology meant to distract from the fact that orbs were showing up.
Yeah.
In response to it.
Right. And also, why the heck is this guy constantly in the orbit of Pentagon and intelligence and NASA people?
Boy, yeah.
Just that in of itself is a tell.
Yeah. So you're saying that he might be a plant?
No, what I'm saying is it's a tell in that
they're trying to actually disclose things?
Well, no. What I'm trying to say is that this lie, the Kirkpatrick and the walk back of Obama, that there is really nothing like that. That becomes a little hard to believe when you also see all of these, Pentagon and intelligence officials spending all this time with this Chris Bledsoe fellow who, what else does he do for them? I mean,
that's a great
at
point.
the time where they started entering his life, the only thing he had to his name was the story and a hit piece that MUFON got made into a documentary that shredded his credibility.
Yeah, I'm almost imagining that Chris may be more than he even knows. And what I mean is that maybe he's like some sort of channel for the phenomena. And he kind of alluded to feeling that way.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases. And that maybe even like physical channel, like, and maybe he's one of the representative avatars for some sort of like communication between species with the government.
I mean, that's an interesting idea. Whether or not he's a channel, he's definitely like the foremost, like the most premier of the abduction class, right?
Contemporarily,
the people who've had experiences. But when you start adding up like the numbers of people with these abduction experiences who may have been tweaked in some way, then, you know, maybe there was some preparation for these people to like lay the foundation for this awakening that he's talking about. And because a common experience amongst the abductees is that they feel that they were shown something that they're not supposed to know right now. And they have this idea that at some point in the future, that information is going to be revealed to them and important to their life.
Yeah. Who was that other guy that had an experience like that? It was another guy that had like a weird experience at a conference.
Michael Masters.
Michael Masters. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a download experience.
He got a download experience where he's saying like they showed me what it was and I agreed to put it in there. And they said you'll have access to this at some point in the future when and if it's needed.
Yeah, and I just finished both of John Mack's books, and that's actually a pretty common theme amongst all of his case files is that people sort of have that understanding that some sort of information was put into them, but they don't have direct access to it now, and that's that way for a reason.
Yeah, maybe it's setting up some sort of just like slow disclosure within, and like, when he said that when AJ had mentioned like, do you think disclosure is coming? And he was like, oh, we're post disclosure.
Yeah.
And he was so sure about it. He seemed so sure about it. It's almost as if like that's how he knows disclosure is going to happen. It's not going to happen from a government agency telling you things. It's going to happen from your own remembering of your abilities that you are now, given. It's like, it's almost like a remembering, like you have these abilities. And if that happens, and like you said, that like if there's like a eventual like I don't know the term you use, but balance of people who are getting these, and maybe there are some people like Michael Masters and others that get early downloads, but there's a specific time when things are going to start to happen. And like maybe some people are meant to have slower, but then some people are meant to like right away have full access to all their abilities, and that's the information stored in their brains.
Like I almost think that maybe these experiencers are like the test subjects and are also meant to be the ones that
help
lead
guide
the rest of us to enable us to start learning, right? What they already know and what they can do.
And potentially with like these like telepathic kids. And, maybe that is another form. Maybe that is some form of this, and they're going to help bring in and usher in a peaceful time where they've spent all this time on the hill where maybe other people are going to be starting to join.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea for how disclosure might go.
Well, and then also like what it seems like these two, AJ, by the way.
Yeah, we figured out his name.
It seems like AJ's term, like his definition of disclosure when he asks that question is different than the definition that Chris is using in answering it.
Yes.
So I feel like AJ is asking it in the sense that a government disclosure of what they know about the UFO, the phenomenon.
That's true.
Whereas Chris is talking about disclosure as like an understanding that people get of the reality of the phenomena that doesn't necessarily have to do anything with the government.
True.
And so in that way, I could see how like a process of disclosure has started. I think there also a process has started from the government side, but it seems that their different factions are constantly having more and less influence, and that it keeps stalling up.
Yeah, it seems like most other things, like they're just going to drag their heels.
And also I'm with AJ that I don't necessarily trust a government dump, like a message from the government trying to explain to all of us what this phenomenon is. You can take it to the bank that there's going to be some manipulation and some
storytelling,
some manipulation in it. Yeah, some sort of convenient way that they frame it for them.
Yeah, they're gonna tell a story of how they want it to play out. They're gonna say, "Oh, we did. Roswell's real, but listen, guys, like
we've been trying to protect you guys from an invasion that is coming, and you should be terrified of these entities because they can shoot down our nukes. We have no power over them. Don't you want to give us more power, more control, more tax dollars so that we can keep you safe from the evil space aliens?"
Right, so we can all lose together.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm hopeful that something comes of this, but reserve a little bit for the possibility and the likelihood that it's not like an abrupt thing that happens on a specific day. But maybe 2012 was leading to this, which is leading to the next thing, which is leading to the next thing.
Right.
So,
or maybe we've been through this a number of times, and we'll just have to see how it plays out this time, and that explains things like the Mandela effects and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe every
a different
time
version, a reboot of the simulation to see if we can get a different outcome.
Yeah. We're just re-rolling the dice.
All right, you want to take another break real quick?
Yeah. Unless how much more we got? Just got a handful of clips and stuff.
Well, I could go for a whole nother show with all this other stuff. So why don't we just play a little more of this from the other clip?
Now.
Yeah. And then we'll end on that. And I got a bunch of stuff for next time.
Perfect.
All right, let's check this out.
You've said this before. What's the date? What's the date when Regulus turns red?
I don't know that, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I was given this riddle by the lady.
Because you've been misquoted.
Yeah, I'm misquoted all the time. I've got people on the internet saying, Chris says this or Chris says that. I've never said that. Chris says that the Sphinx is going to open up its paw and all this.
Right.
I never said that. Edgar Casey said that, right? It's all over the internet. But what...
you say a lot of things that Edgar Casey said about the Hall of Records and stuff.
Yeah.
There's some similarities.
Well, it's all part of this progression and studying. I study everybody. I'm on a mission myself. But what I do know is when the lady told me about this many years ago, about the Regulus and the star, I immediately called a a literary agent friend of mine, Lisa Hagen. Lisa's a very close friend, lives in Virginia, book publisher. And I told her, we were working on a manuscript, Lisa and I, and we were talking all the time, so I told her about this. And she said, oh my, I know a lot of people that does astrology. They write books, you know. I said, well, find out if this is going to happen, if it's really real. I don't know if it's going to happen. It was just a riddle she gave me. So she calls Kurt Nielsen from, he's part of the Edgar Casey Research Center and different ones, and they all came back to me way back then, September of 2026, this is going to take place. So for 7 or 8 years, that's all I preached about. You can look at many podcasts that are older ones, and I'm always saying September of 2026. When I wrote the book,
September,
I thought, I better fact check this. And so I called Lisa back, and I said, Lisa, you remember this? Tell me, am I correct? Wasn't it September? She said, oh, I think we made a mistake there. I think they believe it now it's going to be in Easter or around April. And I thought, well, that makes sense because the lady always comes on Easter. So that's what I went with. But I never really felt, because for 8 or 9 years, that's all I said was in September. I was never sold on it, other than the lady's always associated with Easter, or has been. That's when she.
Okay, so I've been remembering this wrong. Yeah, so his original prediction was September.
Early on in his interviews, he was saying, yeah. But I don't know that when we heard about him, that he was saying that.
Right. Because we're relatively new on the Bledsoe bandwagon, when we started the podcast, basically.
Because we didn't see him. What was the first thing? It was Y-Files that covered him.
Was it? I don't remember my first exposure to him.
Maybe not.
We have to go back through the podcast.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But yeah, either way, I just know that we were hearing one date and then we were hearing another, and I kept always getting confused about which was the first prediction, which is the revised prediction.
But he does say something about summer too.
Yeah.
He said something about summer 2027 or something. And I don't know if he just it was specifically about that or if it was some other.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or that's what somebody was saying about him, maybe. I don't know.
So right now he's saying Easter this year. There's also this weird 2032 date.
Yeah, about the craft that's incoming.
Yeah, which people have talked about.
Or at least a large interstellar object or something that's supposed to be coming through.
Yeah. And then there's... So I want to do some of these real quick. So Ryan Bledsoe has been tweeting up a lot recently. And why don't you check this out? So this is him sharing a clip of Anna Paulina Luna being interviewed.
Republican Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna. She is chair of the Oversight Committee Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. She has said that there is evidence of interdimensional beings that can operate through the time spaces that we currently have, which is obviously going to catch a lot of people's attention. Anna Paulina Luna, thank you very much, Congressman. It's good to have you with us today. So I want to go back to that. You told Joe Rogan in a podcast in August when you were discussing all of this that you have viewed evidence of interdimensional beings here on Earth and that they operate through the time spaces that we currently have. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, I think that a good example would be some of the photo visual evidence that we've seen directly in some of these classified briefings that will now be made public. One of the famously now, infamous videos that we showed in one of our hearings was actually a video that was dead dropped to Eric Burleson, who's a member of Congress from within the Department of War, and it shows a UAP, an unidentified aerial phenomena, deflecting a Hellfire missile. This was taken off of ISR footage off the coast of, I believe, believe it was Yemen. So long story short, there have been briefings that we've received as Congress that leads us to believe that yes, there is definitely an advanced technology out there that's not created by mankind. And yes, of course, we've seen other evidence where it could potentially be UAPs, and then we later find out that there's drones. But there is a certain amount of evidence that we simply can't explain. Some of the physics that are defied in how these vehicles operate are very interesting to note. And we are not the only government that's, looked into this extensively. But I really do look at this from a lens of national security. And as you know, as we continue to evolve specifically on the front of AI and drone technology, we have to ensure that are these things, whatever they may be, are they potential adversarial weapons, advanced weapons, or not? And I think the whole aspect that the federal government can deny access to members of Congress, of which has happened not just to myself, but to other members of Congress as well, is not just alarming, but it's also something that cannot truly exist in a free and fair society. Government should not operate in secrecy. And so I look forward to the American people being able to determine their own conclusion after they've seen some of the evidence that we have seen. But most recently, Representative Gates actually came forward. He was on that initial CODAL with me and Representative Tim Burchett, where we were denied access. And he will tell you that if you've seen some of the stuff that we've seen, you will too become a believer.
So,
So Ryan says it's biblical. We have been saying this despite mockery and ridicule for 19 years. Soon, no one will be able to deny it. All roads lead to God being real.
I don't know, Anna Paulina Luna, she's like read the Book of Enoch, and she's like gone back into scripture, and she's connected a lot of that to the recent
phenomena.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting thread.
Yeah. Check out this tweet by Ryan. He says, "Hey Grok, can you find everything ever said about the lady by only members of the Bledsoe family and synthesize it into a concise transcript and summarize her provided cosmology and prophecy?" And then, we're not signed in, so I can't read the replies. But yeah.
Replied.
Yeah, Grok replied and kind of summarized. Then here's another tweet of his. He says, "There will be many who shout hologram on that day when the beings of light enter our skies. The multi-generational psyop has been to convince you to be afraid and to not look up and connect with God and angels when they inevitably come. Remote viewers, Project Looking Glass, etc., they have known for many years what is coming. Spiritual awakening that even the powers that be cannot contain. They want your soul to be so violated and broken that you fear God, the one thing that can save you from them. Have hope and be free of thought. Light is coming."
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also, I think in that thread with Grok, he also has like a little conversation about the dates and stuff.
Okay.
It's pretty, it seems to be a lot happening right now. And
that's either very coincidental or
when is Easter
very connected.
This year anyway?
It's the beginning of April. It's like April 5th.
Okay. Well, we are very close.
Yeah, we are. And we'll probably have a couple more episodes. That might be our 100th episode.
Dude, right?
It would be before then.
Yes. But it'll be close.
Yeah.
It'll be 101, I think. So we'll see if we make it to 101 episodes, guys.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think about all this stuff going on in the world right now, and in the comment section, or you guys can email us at host@dualitycheck.net. You guys can check out our websites, dualitycheck.net. It's got everything. It's a one-stop shop. You guys want to listen to the podcast, you guys can go to our episodes page, and it'll show it'll show all the episodes, but then on the right side up top, it'll show you the tags, and the bigger the tag, the more often we talk about it and the more videos there are on it.
So he like Chris Bledsoe.
Bledsoe's in there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, we've talked about him a lot.
Yeah,
and from pretty early on.
Yeah.
From number 10.
Yeah. So, yep, you can go check out our Chris Bledsoe episode where we covered the story of him as well.
Mm-hmm. That was a two-parter where we just kind of went over in detail.
Yeah. And you guys want to watch the podcast, see our face, look at the studio, see everything
by the way,
live with us.
We got our alien friend back.
Oh, yeah, he's up there.
Wait.
Right
there.
He's over there right by the globe.
Flipping the bird.
Between the globe and the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Which I think is a good spot for him. And less likely that we'll knock him down again.
If you guys want to see all of our trinkets, see the alien flipping you off during the episode, go check us out on YouTube or Rumble. Like, comment, subscribe, that kind of stuff really helps push this to other people that are like-minded. And we'd love to hear from you in the comment section. And we usually read those in the beginning of the episodes. So
you can also email us directly at hosts@dualitycheck.net.
And you guys can look out on Instagram, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, you can message us through those platforms as well. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Alrighty, y'all.